I like that. But there is some good we can take of that, too. Let's talk about that when we come back. And let's talk about, for once, how long has it been that halftime adjustments don't happen in Cleveland? Now, you got some guys. You got Brian Hoyer and Dante Whitner and Joe Hayden and Carlos Dansby who grabbed players by the jerseys at halftime yesterday and said, is this how you want to look? Is this how you want to be remembered? Let's get out there and play some ball. And by damn, you'd be amazed what happened. Coaches said, man, don't put that on us. We didn't just go out there and fire them up. They did that. The leaders did that. It's been a long time since the Browns have looked better in the second half than they did in the first half. Almost traditionally, they look worse after halftime. They never make good adjustments. So that's something to talk about. When we come back, let's do it. Talking Browns, Steelers, when we come back, live on the Sports Fix.
This is the Sports Fix.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
They call me Mr. Pig!
We'll call you whatever you like, as long as we can call you a fan of the Sports Fix.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
Hey everybody, this is Jerry the King Lawler from WWE, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
There's heritage, and then there's birthright, the passing down of important things. We're talking about something deeper than nostalgia. We are proud. The C is for Cleveland and courage and comeback. No matter who we are before, when we put it on, we stand on common ground. This season, it's about unfinished business. Get ready. Here comes the tribe.
Sports Fix listeners, like us on Facebook today. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix.
You love Cleveland, and you already know how much we love Cleveland. You know who else loves Cleveland? GV Art and Design. Everyday fans, you and I wear our pride on our sleeves. Now, you can wear your pride on your chest. GV Art and Design has one of the hottest Cleveland sporting lines. Log on right now to gvartwork.com. Check out all of their fantastic designs. And don't forget, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10, to save 10% on your total purchase. Follow gvartwork.com on Facebook, and remember, GV Art and Design, it's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck, home of the low price tire guarantee. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you here as we roll on to the show. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan, Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan joins us just about 30 minutes from now. John McMullen from the Sports Network joins us to talk some Browns and NFL 10 minutes from now, but I'm going to set the stage here with a small segment, and you know what? Separate Ways is kind of fitting because it was a tale of two everything yesterday as we set it up before the break, talking about that and the depths of desperation at halftime, and then bam, they flipped the switch. And I got to tell you, and I'm going to say this in the not trying to be the guy that says, oh, well, at least we didn't lose. It was really bad. It was close. I'm not saying that. Damn, man, didn't it feel good in the second half watching that football game? Forget how, I got it. You lost at the end of the game. But around the beginning of the fourth quarter, I looked at the cats I'm watching the game with, and I said, how long has it been since Browns football has just been fun? Just fun to watch like this, like where you're going, man, this is all right, man. Like I can deal with this, man. And what a turnaround, just unexpected, as I said, from what you saw in the first half to the second. Phone lines are ringing, 216-539-7535, 216-539-7535. Facebook, Twitter, email, facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at the SportsFix CLE. Email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com, and we're talking Browns and Steelers, and the record book will tell you at the end of the day that the Browns lost 30-27, and some record books won't even tell you that. They'll just tell you that the Browns lost and the Steelers won. And I'm going to start with what I mentioned before the break. I love that Mike Pettin didn't spend a half a second taking any compliments after the game. I listened very intently to every word that he spoke after that game. He wasn't in the mood for moral victories, for congratulations on anything, and he made sure to make that clear to the players as well. Of course, there's learning and teachable moments. That's part of what you do. That's your job. Of course, there's things that you're going to take out of this, and we'll talk about some of them that are positive as well as the negatives that you take out of this. But I love the fact that unlike some other coaches that we've had, he didn't quickly tell you all the things that we did right in the middle of a bad loss. How many times have we had guys who will sit there and act like they weren't watching the same game that you were watching, And you know what else? He never once had to check the tape. Amazing how he didn't have to check the tape on anything. He knew exactly how guys did. Hey, what'd you think about this? He didn't have to check the tape. Last I checked, he had the same vantage point as the last couple of coaches, but they were some tape checking sons of guns. But anyways, I just like the responsibility, the man up that he took after the game, and he was given opportunities to and you know what, the media, boy, they tripped me out, man. He snuffed it out quick too. There was exactly one attempt to bring Manziel into the post-game conversation. It was, Coach, at any point did you think about bringing Manziel in because of the way the first half went? No. Next question. Moved on and shut that down quickly because, and you know what? I will mention that off to the side real fast, man. Every pregame show everywhere. I could not believe how much pregame material, video, time, and hype across ESPN, NFL Network, CBS, all of them was wasted on destroying the myth that Brian Hoyer was a quarterback and that he was only a placeholder for the actual quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. I got to tell you, I hope, if for nothing else, I hope that stupid conversation is over, and this has nothing to do with John Manziel. Just plain and simple. If you are still looking for the Browns to switch the quarterback, I don't know what you think is coming off of the bench, but I guarantee you it's not going to be better than what you saw in the second half of that game yesterday. And I'm not just talking about performance, which was spot on in the second half. I'm talking about leadership and drive. Did you hear the way the locker room talked after the game about Brian Hoyer? Because how long it's been since the Browns have had a quarterback on the sideline who grabbed guys by the shoulder pads, offense and defense, and fired them up and got them going. If you don't think that played a part in that comeback, you're crazy. That comeback wasn't just because the Browns were executing better in the second half. It wasn't just because guys were focused a little bit more. It was because of motivation, leadership, and being fired up. And I don't care if we're talking about Colt McCoy or Brandon Whedon or any quarterback you want to name, Jason Campbell. These cats were sitting on the sidelines with their hands in their hand warmers, listening in their headphones, thinking to themselves, these cats weren't on the sideline being leaders. These guys weren't out there doing the stuff that a motivator does. And not just them, as I said, not just there, but in the locker room with the defense as well. Look at the names that were listed on defense. Yeah, Joe Hayden's here, but Dansby, Whitner, That's one of the reasons that you bring them here, is for that right there, to go around and say, listen, this is not acceptable, And so, again, it's hard for me to go too far with all of that because we did lose the game, and that's the part that sucks. But, it would have been the biggest comeback in Browns history had they completed it. 20 points was the previous high for a Browns comeback there. Would have been. And, again, it fell short at the end. Justin Gilbert falls down. That's what a veteran team does. They know with 45 seconds left how to get one more play than the other team. And they did that. And they got one more play, and they won the game at the end. But to me, you don't come out of that game with your head down, but you don't come out of that game high-fiving people either. You come out of that game going, you learn a lot from the way you started that game. You don't get yourself in that hole, and then maybe you don't have to dig yourself out of that in the second half. But I'll tell you what, they found out a couple of things. Anybody that doubted it, the Browns have a quarterback. Anybody that doubted it, the Browns have a couple of running backs. We hadn't even touched on that yet. Ben Tate banged up in his first game. In comes Crowell and Tate, and they take care of business. Tate becomes the first rookie making his debut to get 100 yards since Larry Mason, who wasn't even an actual NFL player. He was a strike replacement player back in '87. It's been that long since a Browns rookie did that in his debut. And, all Crowell did is show up and score touchdowns, baby. So the Browns showed some good things. At the same, they showed some bad things when they went down that many points in the first half, when they were getting sliced through like a hot knife through. Le'Veon Bell was looking like the second coming of Walter. He had triple digits on both sides of the ledger with passing and running, and we can get into all of that too. Got to clean those things up. Justin Gilbert, better learn from these things. He got a little tweaked at it being called a learning experience, but it was, and he needs to learn from that. He needs to continue to improve, but again, I still find it hard not to take solace in that second half because, damn, man, how many times would the Browns have done that? You know what I mean? How many times would the Browns have done that in the past? That's a rollover right there. That's a get beat 42-3, 42-9, 10. You get a late garbage touchdown, That's not what the Browns did, and that should give you hope. That should give you reason to believe that this team can be better than people thought. And let's add one more layer to that, because yesterday reports are all over on every network. Browns potentially, and I'm not buying it just yet, potentially get Josh Gordon back when he was not a part of the equation. I will say this. All bets are off, and I will have to re-go through the whole panel. Josh Gordon gets re-added to this Browns team, and they can play the way they did in the second half. All bets are off on what you can do potentially this season, within limitations, of course, but I just think that they showed a lot more than people thought was there. And in the passing game, too, I thought they showed a lot more than people thought were there, especially when you realize what they did in the second half. They did it without Cameron and without Tate. So let's talk about all of that. I'm going to go to the phones. I've got time for a quick phone call. Then we'll get a break. We'll get the news. We'll get John McMullen in, and we'll get his take on all of this. Caller, where are you at with the Browns and the Steelers in Week 1?
J-Rock Daddy.
LG, what's happening, baby? Where you at, man? I know you were watching this thing down in, where you, South Carolina?
I'll tell you one thing right now, J-Rock. The first half, you hit it right in between the nutsack. To see a Cleveland Browns football team go into the locker room during halftime and come out and make positive second half adjustments. I got to tell you, I don't even remember the last time that happened with a Cleveland Browns football team.
Me too.
Some of the coaches we've had in the past. That's the one positive thing I want to talk about. The other positive thing I want to talk about was the performance. You heard some comparisons about Tom Brady and Brian Hoyer. Maybe they don't compare on the football field with the physical attributes that Brady brings to the New England Patriots, but the leadership abilities that this Brian Hoyer picked up from Tom Brady. I've seen Tom Brady grabbing players by the jersey in the huddle. Now you're telling me that Hoyer was grabbing these guys in the locker room by the jerseys. That's Tom Brady-like leadership, and that's what this Cleveland Browns football team really needs. And anybody that's still nuts enough to think that Johnny Manziel would have made any difference in that football game yesterday really should have their head examined, J-Rock, because, you know, you talked about how bad the defense showed up in the first half of the football game. And I tell you, the defensive side